I'm Lars Enersson with the Watchman International, coming to you from Israel on the border to Gaza. The agreed upon ceasefire for 72 hours is about to expire in approximately an hour now, and nobody knows what is going to happen. Hamas has threatened to continue the fighting unless their demands are met, primarily that they will be allowed to have a seaport in Gaza. In fact, they have already broken the ceasefire during the night here, firing 2 rockets into Israel. There is a deep sense here in Israel that there is an unfinished job in Gaza, and maybe Israel will be drawn into a battle here again, and that time we need to pray that they will go all the way to the end and defeat Hamas. Hamas has said they will never disarm. The spokesperson for Hamas said, "We consider our weapons as sacred. They are holy to Hamas, and so they will rather give their lives than give up their weapons and continue their fight against Israel." This time around, reports are coming in now that the battle has been more severe than it was even 2 years ago in battle, or in the battles earlier here in Gaza. Hamas has gained a lot of experience, and their soldiers are more, or terrorists are more trained now than they were a few years ago. Israel is now bracing itself for a lot of accusations of war crimes. The Palestinians have promised that they will take Israel to the International Criminal Court in Hague and accuse them of war crimes. I want to, in this update, tell you that compared to other battle grounds, other wars in similar situations, that we can compare the battle here in Gaza now to, like in Kosovo in the 90s, and also in the war in Iraq in 2003. We know that the death toll among the civilians have been approximately 4 times larger than it has been here in the battle in Gaza. According to Hamas figures, which media reported throughout the entire weeks of fighting here without questioning them, even though those reports come from Hamas, 1,800 people have died here in Gaza. What we do know now is that Israel has carefully documented around 900 terrorists being killed. That makes it a ratio of approximately 1 civilian killed for every soldier that has died here. Both in Kosovo and in Iraq, the figures were 4 civilians killed for every terrorist or soldier being killed. And after the war in the NATO war in Kosovo, where the Europeans fought, where the Americans fought, there were accusations of war crimes being committed. A committee that investigated it found that NATO had not been using disproportionate force in Kosovo, and yet they had killed 4 times as many civilians in the battle as what Israel has been doing here in Gaza. Also, we know that of these 1,800 dead civilians here that Hamas has released the names of, when they have studied this list, they have found that the same person has been listed more than one time. So we can probably say that the figure is even less. Also, of the 3,360 rockets that Hamas has fired against Israel, 475 of them have landed inside of Gaza, including in the densely populated refugee camps here in Gaza. So how many Palestinians that have died from Hamas rockets, we do not know. Also, we know that at least 30 Palestinians have been executed by Hamas, accused of being collaborators with Israel. These executions have continued, in fact, after the ceasefire went into effect, including against one of the spokespeople for Hamas, who was executed here yesterday. So the accusations are unfair. Israel has not been using disproportionate force when it is only a fourth of the death figure here than in similar battles around the world. We also know that an expert on urban warfare, a British colonel called Richard Kemp, who has been fighting in Afghanistan and who is an expert on this kind of warfare, has documented earlier that there is no army in the world that is more careful with the civilian population than what the Israeli army is. So, friends, let's continue to pray for Israel and against all of these accusations that will not come against them. And also, let's pray that they will have God's wisdom in case Hamas continues now to fire into Israel. I'm Lars Enerson with the Watchman International, coming to you from Israel on the border to Gaza. Visit our website, thewatchman.org, and subscribe to the prayer alerts, and you will get these updates into your computer and see the prayer topics that we agree on here. God bless you. Shalom.